videos. So I noticed something the other day. I was so stoked about getting the car and doing content and recording and trying to get everything documented that I forgot to give you guys a look at the brand new motor. Stinking Hemis with their silly covers. And there she is. Reused, obviously, some of the components, because all you get is the long block when you get this thing, when you get the remanufactured motor. But there she is. You'll notice the 800 extra spark plugs. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 spark plug wires for every head. And then on this side, you will also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you're not aware, for those people that aren't Mopar people, the Hemis have 2 spark plugs per cylinder head instead of 1. So don't get a Hemi if you don't want to be paying extra money for a lot of stuff. But they're awesome. They're beautiful. I wouldn't trade mine for anything. So, but there she is. There's the engine compartment. There's the brand new motor, the big honkin' 345. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I know you guys got a chance to hear the inaugural startup, and it was dark out, so you guys didn't get a lot of quality video out of it. So you're gonna get the first daytime startup. She needs aftermarket exhaust. Badly. Stinking seatbelts. Windows down for a second. See what we can get out of this thing. Well, this is the first real good quality drive we're gonna get now that it's light out and you can kind of see everything that's going on. The sights, the sounds. She started right up. So, like I said on the last video that I posted, I'm expecting the worst because this thing has been beat up so bad. Not beat up so bad, but it's died out for so long that I'm just expecting the absolute worst because it's money in my pocket that's going to disappear, and that's how the world works. Yeah, started right up, no issues. You guys got a chance to see the motor. Obviously, you can see there's some parts that are very obviously reused from the old motor that, have dirt and debris on it or whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna wait for this Raptor to go by and we'll give this thing a nice little pull so you can see it out in the daylight and stuff. And that was 60. So, like we discussed before, the 5.7 is one of those motors that, for those that are not aware, the 5.7 is a truck motor. The first application that I can recall, and I'm sure if I went back and did my research, it would probably show to be accurate, but the first application that Chrysler used the 5.7 Hemi in was the 2003 Ram, because I think prior to 2003, I think 2002 was the last year, they had the 5.9 liter, which was a 360 in the Rams. I had a 96 Ram with the 360 in it, and that thing was a beast. It wasn't like wicked fast or anything, but it was a beast. Anyway, back on topic. The first application of this motor was to be used in the trucks, which it still is to this day. So this thing is designed for, work, basically. But like most V8s that are created for trucks and work and stuff like that, they have an application in racing. The 05 Magnum was 340 horsepower, 390 pound-feet of torque. By the time you got to like the early 2010s, the 5.7 had climbed up to about 375 horsepower and 410 pound-feet of torque, which is why it encroached on the 6.1 liter so much, eventually eliminating the 6.1 liter for the 6.4 and the supercharged 6.2. But this thing definitely, it definitely feels different. And I'm not talking about 7 cylinders to 8 cylinders. That feels drastically different. That's like going from hobbling on a broken leg to sprinting with a fully healed leg. It's night and day. It's not even the same thing. But it's very obvious, I discussed in the last video that I was told they don't typically reman motors that are decades old. It's usually Jasper and things like this usually end up collecting more modern, like the last 5 years or so, and reman them. So there's definitely a different feel and horsepower. Like I said, I'd like to stick it on the dyno and see what we get. But yeah, she's running a lot smoother. It's weird pulling up to a light. It's weird pulling up to a light or a stop sign and not feeling the car doing this the whole time, not feeling like it's gonna shut off on me, not having to drop it in neutral so the motor's not chugging so hard at idle. She runs smooth, she runs great, and she's got a little bit of get up and go, and I am thoroughly pleased now. I worked a long weekend. I worked Friday, Saturday, Sunday, so I came home late on Friday and went and picked the car up, and all the stress of just getting off work, hoping the car works right, trying to record content, and then trying to get home and get ready to be up at the butt crack of dawn the next day and go back to work. I don't know that it had really hit me, and I still don't know that it has hit me yet, how awesome this is. But having said that, I'm starting to feel it churning a little bit, just driving it, it's got a smile on my face that I'm sure you can see it, because every time I glance at the camera I can see it. It's one of those things like non-car people just don't get it, they just don't understand that, if you're a food person and you get that your favorite meal that you haven't had in a while, or if you're a movie person and you finally got to go see the Avengers after waiting, you went to go see Endgame after waiting a year to figure out what happened or how the movie, the two-part was going to end. I'm just trying to think of examples that could explain to people what it's like for car people all the time. Like, imagine that feeling every time you get in your car. It's hard to explain, and if you know, you know. But all the sentimental value and stuff of the car changes things too, obviously. I'm trying to see if I can. We got a Raptor driving next to us, so I was going to try and see if I could pull up at an angle where you could get a hold of it. Actually, let me see. I'm sorry, that is a Roush. Listen, like I said, I can appreciate anything. I can appreciate anything. I am not a Ford guy. I strongly dislike Ford guys. Not Ford guys. I strongly dislike Fords. But I can appreciate anything. Anything that's badass, bro. So, off topic. But, like that guy. loud exhaust, big ass truck. You know that dude drives around with a permanent smile on his face and permanently loving his driving experience. So, my car people that might be watching, they know what I'm talking about. My non-car people, hopefully I helped you understand a little bit. Man, I'm a big comic book guy and comic book movie guy, and the best way I could describe it is that feeling when I first sat in the theater and knew that I was getting ready to watch Endgame. Like, that's, and getting the conclusion to the year of waiting that I was doing. That was the thing that, like, that's the feeling I get every single time I get in a car. That's badass. That's awesome that I get to, tinker with. Like a couple episodes ago, we did my boy Tyler's car, and even, being a Korean car that I have no interest in whatsoever, but just hearing the exhaust and knowing what the experience was probably going to be like, being able to get into something that I would have never experienced before, but was pretty sick. That's a big thing for me. Like, it's just that kind of stuff. I can't. It's hard to put into words for people. That, the end game thing. That's probably the best example I could get. So we're to our destination right now. So I'll pick this back up in a minute with you guys, and it's gonna be longer than a minute, but for you it's gonna be a couple seconds. I'll pick this back up with you guys, and we'll get back at it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we back. AC crank. Oh, sorry. A little longer than I anticipated, but we are now venturing off to go pick up a little young lady. Anybody that's been over on the TikTok and the other social medias for the channel has seen a video or two with my daughter Julia, and she has ridden in the Magnum while it was broken. She has not had a chance because she's been hanging out with her friends and grandma. She has not had a chance to experience the Magnum when it's in good working condition. So this is going to be a treat for her. Ooh, green light. Super short green light. All right. So, again, nothing crazy. No real problems, no real issues, nothing like that. There's a little bit of vibration left in the car, but it's a V8. You expect a little bit, not like all over the place like it was before. So I know we discussed on the last one, I kind of touched on a couple things, what was coming next. If you haven't yet, go back and watch the very first introduction video to the channel. Kind of explains some of the basics that are wrong with the car, but just to give an idea to everybody what's next, because obviously we're not going to blow our load after we just did already. So we're going to find some of the cheaper things to fix, like I said in the other video. The struts for the rear tailgate, those are out. So out as in they're dead, and I learned that the hard way, because I threw the tailgate up and went and leaned in, and it like right in my back. I mean, it's probably like, it felt like it was 500 pounds on my back. But that's a super easy fix. I think you can get a pair of those for like $36 off of Rock Auto, and super easy. The gear shifter is separating from itself because it's out in the Florida heat and just sitting there without being used or moved. That'll do it. The next actual performance style mod, mechanical mod I want to make to this thing is definitely the exhaust, because as nice as this car is and as sweet as the 5.7 is, that exhaust note is not cutting it. Bear in mind the newer 5.7s have a different exhaust setup, so they're louder by default, but this one it leaves something to be desired. That's one thing my dad always liked about the car. He wanted a car that was as powerful as possible to enjoy it, but while still being quiet and not being obnoxious. And me, if you haven't learned yet, I have a tendency to be obnoxious. From a burnout video or whatever else, you should have slowly gathered that already. So the struts, the shifter knobs are pretty cheap in general. Anywhere between 20 and like $40, nothing crazy. The next major project on this car is going to be the left rear fender quarter area. My brother has a long history with body work, so I'm hoping that between the two of us, I can save some serious dinero and just do the sanding and the wet sanding, the block work and all that, and the painting with just the two of us, and I'll just help him out with a handful of adult beverages as a thank you. Yeah, those are the three things I can think of off the top of my head that are coming up. I mean, obviously this thing needs to get detailed. It sat so long and it's been getting pushed around and worked on and stuff like that, so she definitely needs a good detailing. And I think that's where we're at as far as immediate things to get done on this car right now. Once we get through those obstacles, we'll move on to the next thing. Obviously the car, I'm looking to wrap the car eventually. Just stand by. There's a gentleman in a Ranger driving extremely slow in front of me. Disclosure, for anybody that doesn't know me personally that's watching, I hate the color of this car with a fiery and undying passion. I loathe the gray. I know a lot of people love the gray. For me, the best color on a car is black, and I don't want to make this car black. Too many black Magnums out there. I've had too many black cars. My 300 is black, so I don't want to make this black. So black is my favorite color, but if it's not going to be black, I want it obnoxious. I want it loud, proud, and obnoxious. So, bright oranges and greens and blues and stuff like that, that's where I aim for. And I'm not talking about those like Easter egg pastel greens and stuff on the Mustangs. I'm talking about like the late 2000s, early 2010s. The Mopars had that like metallic metal flake, just neon green, and the blues. Chrysler just came out with it's called the Bright Hydro Blue or something like that. Hydro's in the name somewhere, and it is ridiculous. It is probably my favorite blue I've seen on a car. So maybe something similar to that, maybe use that as a jumping off point. If you watched the video with Tyler's car, I told you I recommended he go to the guy that does our window tint, because they also do the 3M and the wraps and stuff. So we're gonna end up looking at probably going to them. That's about $2,500 for the wrap. Regardless, that was the quote anyway, regardless of how many colors you choose, it's gonna be $2,500. That's in the door jambs and everything, so I don't open the door and see gray paint in the door jamb. And then eventually we'll put, as we upgrade the performance of the car, we'll eventually put bumpers and side skirts and all that other stuff on it, and hood scoop and all that other nonsense. So it's gonna be obviously a project. I don't think that was a surprise to anybody, but I'm thinking blue. Blue is probably what this thing's gonna be. Black accents. I'll probably change out the grill instead of getting those like billet style slotted grill. Get a little more open, not quite like a honeycomb, but a little bit more open, breathable grill. Black, absolutely has to be black. We're probably going to do the blacked out hood, like the classic Mopars, the matte black hood. I don't know if we're going to carry the hood into the black on the hood into the roof. I've seen a lot of Magnums that have like a bright obnoxious color, but then the hood and it tapers up into the roof for the black. It looks really good. I just don't know if I want to do it because I'm trying to do something that fits my style of what I like while still being a little bit unique. I don't want to. You're going to end up doing something similar to somebody somewhere. I mean, how many original ideas can there be for a Magnum without going bonkers and doing like pink camo or something crazy? But I still want to have like my own unique touches on it and stuff. And the blue obviously is more of a blue is like one of my favorite colors on a car besides black, but it's also kind of in line with the color theme of the channel, the blue and the black. And I might find ways to have white accents in there as well. I don't like white on cars, so like very, very minor white accents here and there where we can. I've seen a lot of things that have custom wheels with like etchings and engravings in it. I got wine taste on a champagne taste on a beer budget. You know, it is what it is. So we'll got a lot of stuff coming on. This dash, you can probably hear it. The cheap plastic dash has to get changed out. The stereo system has to get changed out. There's some little electronic stuff in here. The power port in the cigarette lighter is not working currently, so I haven't tested it since the motor got replaced, hoping that maybe it was something electrical going on with the battery maybe, or the alternator, and now that everything's been changed, maybe it'll work. If not, it's super stupid simple. I mean, this Jeep plastic, the one good thing about it is you can just pop it right off, and you get back in there and change the stuff out. So it's a cheap part, super easy to do. So that way I can actually charge my phone while we're recording and stuff. So we're coming up to the security gate. So I will see you guys in a minute once I get there and get little Julia in the car. All right, ladies and gentlemen, as promised, we have little Miss Julia here.
Hi.
She's too short for the visor. There you go. It's getting a little better. So we are going to get her first impressions of the Magnum now that it's running properly. Like we said before, she's never driven in it or ridden in it since it's always been broken when she rode in it. So you already noticed it's not shaking like crazy.
No.
It's not like
it's like way better.
We're not sitting on a choppy boat on the waves and stuff. Even though it's still a boat because Mopar. All right, so we are still in the gated community, so we're going to be responsible and not drive like an animal. But we're going to give Julia her first real experience, because this is probably the fastest car you've ever driven in.
Yeah.
I don't think you were born when I had that Charger, so and even if you were, you weren't old enough to really remember it anyway.
Yeah,
so
to really realize what's going on.
So I was just outlining for everybody some of the things that, now that the motor has been replaced, that was the big thing that needed to be replaced on the car and needed to be taken care of. Now, realistically, this car could sit as it stands now for as long as I wanted to, and it would be totally fine, but who wants that? So, obviously, we want to paint, we're going to wrap the thing eventually. The struts we're going to fix on the tailgate so it stops bonking me in the back when I try to go in there and get stuff. We're going to change out this, so maybe we can get like a stereo head unit so I can do Bluetooth in the car and not sit
like
here.
in the other cars.
Yeah. So, but it already sounds better. You can hear.
It sounds way better.
The throaty rumble of the V8, so it's always nice. And we're getting ready to get out onto probably like a 55-mile-an-hour road, so we can actually open it up without worrying about being inappropriate or unsafe.
Yes. I'm way too short for this thing.
It's all good. I don't have the back seats up. Otherwise, you could have sat in the back technically,
And I could have sat right there.
We could have seen you better.
Yeah. Could have sat right there. But I cheat. I choose.
Wait, and all your like all the
window.
The buttons and stuff like that are showing on the screen. They won't be there in the video, obviously. So I'll just have to relocate that 345 to life logo so it's not covering your face.
Put it at the top.
Over there.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
In the corner.
All right. Ready?
Yes.
Make sure this bonehead's not U-turning. I tried to spin the tires a little bit, get a little smoke out of it, but there was too much dirt and sand in the roadway, so the tires were just slipping. No.
That was amazing.
That wasn't even the best part. Once we get a little better traction.
Oh my lord.
See? That's the face I was talking about earlier. The face that's permanently glued on mine. Ugh. That's what I'm talking about.
That is amazing.
Oh man, look at that TRX right there. That's the Hellcat truck. So.
I'm speechless.
Speechless.
That was amazing. And as you say, that's not the best part.
It gets better. We'll get it from a dig at a stop sign.
Okay. That was amazing.
So, what we'll have you do, if you want, is some of the little stuff like changing out the shifter knob and stuff like that. If you want to help, you can. Some of the little stuff that you're not going to get hurt doing, or is not going to get busted or broken because the little kid's doing it. Ooh, you can smell it.
Yeah.
I did.
It comes in strong.
Did skip the tires a little bit because you can smell the rubber. All right, I like it. That's annoying, I know. So the beauty is, and it's not a license to say stupid stuff, but the beauty is, if there's any long lulls or any breaks where we can't think of anything to say, I just go back and cut it out later. It's perfect. Like right now, if I wanted to cut all this out, I would.
So, yeah, it comes in, the smell comes in really, really strong.
It's the rubber. You should have smelled it when I did the burnout for the second episode. That was strong. Green.
Yay.
We'll wait until we get to the stop sign, though. That way we can get like a true dead stop. And hopefully it's not busy, because then if it's busy, we're not going to do it. So, aside from the Hemi, because obviously you liked the Hemi even when it wasn't working properly.
Yes.
So now that it works properly, obviously
it stands out to me more like that it's actually working and cooperating with what we're doing.
Other than the Hemi, what is your favorite part so far?
My favorite part is that, you know how when you like just go for it, you just drive? How when you drove fast, we smelt it? That's my favorite part.
You like all the sights, sounds, and smells?
Mm-hmm. The smell is kind of strong. I like the smell. I like how it like pops out at you once you like hear it. You can see it, but you can hear it. Yeah, that's my favorite part.
We'll do this one with the windows down. Maybe we'll get good audio of the exhaust. Maybe, maybe not. And of course, there's a truck, right?
Praying for my life.
So
That was amazing.
this motor
It's amazing.
and it gets better. But this motor is, because it's a newer 5.7 Hemi, it has more power from the factory. So it's got about 30-something more horsepower and about 20 more pound-feet of torque. This is definitely, and I was telling all of my 30-something followers that I drove this thing back when it was just a regular 05 Hemi Magnum before it broke, and it was, I don't ever remember it being this fast. And it's probably the fastest thing you've ever driven in.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, who has driven cars that are much faster, it's not gonna destroy everything on the road, but at the same time, it is much faster than the last time this thing was operating.
It is way better because last time we drove it, we stopped, and you were literally like you were on a bounce pad.
Right.
You were on a bounce pad sitting down. But now that how the engine's fixed and the motor's fixed, when you stop, I mean, it's a bit bumpy, but it's way better than sitting on a bounce pad.
Right.
Way better.
Well, I used a lot of gas. I was supposed to be behaving. I was supposed to give this an opportunity. Wow, that camera mount is shaking like crazy. I was supposed to be giving it an opportunity to break the car in and not beat the crap out of it. I haven't really been listening to that super well. I failed at that miserably, but she's doing okay.
What should we name her? We should name it. So it's when it's mad, we can say it's mad.
It's funny that you say that because subconsciously you just knew. Actually, that's what car people do. On top of, there was something in the road. On top of naming referring to their car as she and stuff like that, they will typically name their car as well. So I will task you, and take some time to think about it. I will task you. There's a freaking cop. I was gonna get swirly, but I guess not.
Bye, cop. Bye, Papa.
I'm gonna task you with trying to find a good name for the Magnum.
Felicia. No, I was kidding. No.
Nope.
So because I buy Felicia when you drive off.
I figured that's why you selected that.
Yeah, I'll put my time and my effort in that.
Well, since we're almost home, I am going to attempt to give us one more little quick run before we call it a wrap for everybody at home.
This is gonna be fun.
It's even more fun is when people try to pull out in front of you and kill you. That's fantastic. I really like that.
That's my favorite part.
Right after you dropped a stack on a new motor.
Right after you did something so amazing, they just want to ruin your time. Just
Sweet.
we should name it Mom.
No, it's got to be a girl's name.
We should name it Victoria.
We'll put that on a possibility list. I like it. Not bad. We want to talk about the speed limit.
That how you passed it? Yeah.
No. We don't do that. Ever. We don't ever do that. We don't do that. Oh, that's another little thing that needs to get fixed. That is so annoying.
That is.
The Florida heat has worn down the cheap plastic notch that they use to for the turn signal, like the auto shut off when you straighten the wheel back out, and it is not cooperating. I have to shut it off manually. So I'm gonna back in the driveway in a second, but we appreciate everything. We appreciate all the followers and the likes and the comments and stuff. And fortunately, Julia's got the sun in her eyes.
Blinding me.
We're gonna call this one. I appreciate everybody. Julia appreciates everybody.
Yes.
The more followers we get, the more Julia gets to play with the car and enjoy it. So
The more cuteness gets to be in the video.
the like, subscribe, follow, do all that, and
Turn on the post notifications.
Absolutely. And just when you do the post notifications, make sure you just hit all. Don't try to get cute with customizing it, because YouTube gets squirrely with the algorithms. It gets ridiculous.
Yeah.
So we appreciate it, and we will catch you on the next one.